Welcome back to our program. We're talking about transportation sales tax, but just as importantly, we're going to be talking about how people reach us for information and how they give us information. Say a road is closed or if there's some other kind of issue going on in the community, we want you to be able to contact us. And we know that there are many people who use tweet and they Twitter, and we also use Facebook as well. And we have a website. And we're going to talk about all three and maybe some other things that we're thinking about doing. The whole goal here is to get information to you, the public. I'd like you to meet my guest for today. He is Bill Knight, and he is a media consultant in our community.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's nice having you here.
Thank you very much.
Did you ever think that you'd be working with a program like this, or have you done this kind of thing in terms of advising people how to use social media to correspond with others in the community who are getting a service?
Yes, ma'am, I have actually, and it's quite fun. It's a passion of mine, so I have a lot of fun doing it and utilizing avenues of social media to promote not only businesses but events. Really anything that you kind of want to promote or get out there is a great avenue to do it. Not only that it's free, but you can kind of think of it as a hub on a roadway.
Well, you've got to talk to me now because I don't understand a lot of this. But if I'm going to Twitter, I have to go to a tweet area.
That's right.
On my computer.
That's right.
Now, if there are residents out here, and we're going to talk to you about how you can get in touch with us and how you can tweet us if you would like to, and how you can get to our Facebook and all of those kinds of things. And that's going to be coming up shortly. But how does one get to a tweet so that they can give their message?
Well, if you don't have a Twitter account, majority of the time you can follow as someone's tweet deck on Facebook as well if they've got a Twitter tab kind of installed on that. So there is a couple different ways you can do it. Of course, it does pull up an SEO through Google and Bing and other search engines. So that's one way to do it. Having a Twitter account ultimately is the best way to follow someone.
Now, what is a SEO?
Search engine optimization. In other words, whenever someone goes to Google to search for something.
I was going to say, Google is a search engine.
It is.
And Yahoo and MSN.
That's right.
All of those. So we go into that. And do we say, look up Twitter for Charleston County?
For instance, if you're wanting to learn about road closures or something like that, because it's on your website and because the search engine spiders, I like to call them, will go out and find that information that you've put out there. When someone does a search such as road closures, Charleston County, more than likely you guys would come up. And not only your website, but anything else that has to do with that as well. So if you have tweeted that there was a road closure, that will come up. Same with your Facebook page, website.
Well, give me some idea how I would pull up from a search engine this idea of tweeting. Would I simply go on and say Twitter dot something or another?
Not at all. No, you don't even have to go that detailed. Literally, you would, for instance, today it's kind of rainy, and I'm sure there's a couple of closures out there. So you could do something like, you know, for mine, for instance, I can talk right into my phone, and it'll do a search on the internet. So I can say, you know, Long Point Road, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, road closures. And let's just say that, for instance, you guys actually had a road closure on there and had tweeted about it. It should pull it up in that search engine as one of my choices down below. I would click that, it would go to your Twitter wall.
And you get the information.
That's right.
And you can do that whether you're driving your car or whatever.
That's right.
Well, I guess the question here is, are there all sorts of technical pieces that one can purchase that allows the individual to tweet or use Facebook or YouTube or any of those other ways that we're trying to communicate with the public?
Absolutely. You know, I was thinking on the car ride over here this morning, and I'm not tweeting because it was raining, and I don't do that when I drive. But but I was thinking on the way over here, you know, some of the different avenues that people would be able to get to your information that people really want to know. And the great thing is, if you think about it, from mobile devices being very, very smart, savvy these days, and the great thing is, you know, as I have two daughters, 10 and 11, and as I think here in the next couple of years, they're going to be driving and they're going to want to know this information. And you know, just a website or just a show or an interview may not reach all of those people that really are important and that utilize the roadways. And you know, think about it, anyone from 15 to 70 something, 80 something, 90 something in some cases are driving or out in the streets. And all of these people need the information.
What does this do to the old-fashioned news report at 6 o'clock news or 11 o'clock news or 7 a.m. news or drive time on the radio? They used to be the group that would get information out to the public.
And I still think they're very important.
Do you?
Absolutely, because they can take that same message, that 6 o'clock live broadcast, and they can put it on their Twitter account, and they can put it on their Facebook account. So not only can you tweet about it, but you can embed that exact same video that they did, a live report at 6 o'clock, onto any of those accounts, which I think is, again, reaching that demographic people that you hadn't reached before on TV, because 17-year-olds just aren't home at 6 o'clock watching the news.
Absolutely.
You know?
And if I want to reach you, I must use an account, did you say? It sounds like money is involved.
No, ma'am. Twitter, of course, Facebook, and a lot of social media accounts are free. And you just sign up. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean in order to follow someone's account or see what they've tweeted about that you have to have an account. You can literally go to the website, pull up that person's page without having an account. Although, in order to get alerted that someone has utilized it to put out whether or not a road closure or an update on a project, you won't get alerted unless you have an account.
Okay, and so account is not necessarily an account like in the dress store.
That's right.
Or in the shoe store.
That's right.
It has more to do with having a place on some type of program, search engine.
There you go.
And there you would be able to get your information.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, a lot of people are doing that.
Absolutely.
And we're finding that when we go to public meetings and we're addressing individuals about our projects, that in fact they'll ask, do you have a means that we can use through social media? And it's good to be able to say that we can.
Definitely.
And we're going to explain exactly why we can and how we're doing that towards the end of the program. But what we want you to hear now is exactly how does this idea of tweeting and YouTube and all of those things, how do they pay for themselves? The county's not paying for this, and I want you to know that. So how are these things taken care of monetarily? We'll find out in just a moment. Please don't go away.